Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Train Crash TV Just Talking. I'm your host Richard Garner, and this is another episode of me just talking. Today we're going to talk about something called we're going to talk about the various different factions in the base game for Fallout. Now I want to let you guys know that I'm not going to cover any of the factions or any of the various different characters that you see in the DLCs because I don't have any of the DLCs for PC, and if I'm going to talk about the DLCs at all, I'd want to explore those maps. That way you guys get a visual of the environment they live in and sort of get a feel of what they're going through. But let me talk about the four main factions in the base game. The Institute, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, and the Minutemen. And I'm going to tell you my personal opinion. I can't stress this enough. This is my personal opinion, and I believe that a lot of people will agree with me. The Minutemen are arguably the best option in this game, post-endgame, when it comes to the future of the Commonwealth. Now, let me explain why. The Minutemen are possibly the only faction at all that is not completely and utterly selfish, or even somewhat selfish. They go out of their way to help people rather than have their own specific agenda like all these other factions have. Now, I know what people are going to say. Well, the Railroad couldn't be considered selfish. They save Sims. Right, but that's all they really do. They don't go out of their way to build settlements. They don't build defenses. They don't offer protection to farmers. They don't care ultimately what happens to the people of this Commonwealth. In fact, they have very big contempt and don't like the people of the Commonwealth, in my personal opinion. Now, let me explain this. Um, when you talk to Desdemona after you build the teleporter device and get access to the Institute, and if you do that with the Minutemen, she will say that you must be justifiably proud of what your Minutemen have accomplished, but we beseech you to work with us instead of them. And when you ask her to clarify why, she says that the Minutemen represent the character of the Commonwealth, and that character from time to time has been proven rotten. So she has a little contempt for the people of the Commonwealth. And you gotta understand, that comes from actual... Her contempt is not completely on face. Her contempt comes when she sees the people of the Commonwealth being paranoid and they will attack a synth and kill or lynch a synth. They will flat out lynch a synth if given the opportunity, because on a few occasions they have had synths attacked for various, just because they got found out to be a synth. And that is wrong. Yeah, I agree with that, but not everyone in the Commonwealth does that. And I think she acknowledges that, but she ultimately believes that the Minutemen would not take any kind of action to protect and help synths. And granted, that is arguably true. But realistically, I think that if put in a situation where they know that the person is a synth, I think that the Minutemen would protect them nonetheless. Because their whole ideology is to protect the people of the Commonwealth and help them out. The Railroad, if you win the game, I've only done a few playthroughs with the Railroad winning the game, and from what I can really tell is they don't put much effort in protecting the people of the Commonwealth, unlike the Minutemen. And another thing is, the Brotherhood of Steel is possibly the second worst option for the future of the Commonwealth, because they obviously don't care and hold very much contempt for the people of the Commonwealth. They think the Minutemen are a joke. They think that the Railroad is just as bad as the Institute. They think that synths are evil. They don't like mutants, whether they be intelligent super mutants or non-feral ghouls. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, take you out. Watch the fireworks. Oh yeah. And ultimately, they don't care what happens to the people of the Commonwealth. If they cared, they wouldn't be going off on little air raids and fighting battles on these heavily trafficked areas just because there's like one super mutant or one raider or one gunner on that particular road. And if you see if they are like surrounded by caravans, they'll just offload their minigun at these hostiles, whether they attack or don't attack the caravan. They don't care if the caravan gets in the way of the bullets. They ultimately don't care how much damage they're doing to the Commonwealth. They're just there for a handful of reasons. They want to destroy the Institute and possibly set up their own police state in the Commonwealth. They have contempt for the Minutemen and therefore have contempt for the people of the Commonwealth because they see them as lesser than, not equal to. And I think given the chance, they would probably declare a police state and they would ultimately become very tyrannical in a short amount of time, which is why I almost never side with the Brotherhood of Steel, which is kind of sad because originally the Brotherhood of Steel was one of my favorite factions from the Fallout franchise in almost every iteration. I mean, I think the only other game I didn't side with them on was the New Vegas game, because they don't really play as big a role in that game. Fight me, but that's my personal opinion on that. And the Minutemen, you know, they're a military faction, but they care if people get caught in the crossfire. They care if people get hurt. They go out of their way to make sure that people don't get hurt. That's why they take the fight to these raiders that are threatening settlements and don't just wait for them to mosey on into town. They don't wait for them to... They don't lay a trap for them. They go to where they're at and they take them out. Well, technically you go where they're at and they take them out, but you're the general of Minutemen, so it counts. It counts, guys. Anyway, another reason the worst faction you can side with is the Institute. And let me tell you that I don't think the Institute would do much with the Commonwealth. I think the kidnappings will probably stop as the Institute becomes less reliant on the surface world, because Father ultimately says that they steal power from the surface because they simply don't have a way to power their own thing until you reactivate the reactor. I think that they would ultimately just stay in their underground shelter because they don't care about because again, they don't care. Each one of these factions has the ability to make the Commonwealth a better place. The Railroad and the Brotherhood could use their resources to protect the people of this Commonwealth, but they ultimately do not. And they can't use that, well, we are spread too thin attitude that doesn't work, because the Minutemen still do protect people of the Commonwealth, even in earlier part of the game where they just aren't that powerful. They have the ability to protect and serve the people of the Commonwealth, but they just don't do it. Because again, the people of the Commonwealth is not their main concern. Protecting Sims and keeping one step ahead of the Institute is their concern. And ultimately, if it came down to saving a farmer who's being attacked by the Institute, you know, a common enemy, and it came down to saving the one simp that's like a mile up the road, they'd probably just save the simp and let the farmer die or get replaced. Ultimately, they don't care. They're just one tier up from the Institute. The Institute only goes up to the surface as necessary. Now, the Institute originally, in my opinion, wanted to help the people of the Commonwealth. That's why I think they're the ones that tried to organize the CPG, but then certain scientists in the Institute thought that was a bad idea, so they sabotaged the CPG. And that's how I think that went down, and they became increasingly isolationist. And you know, they have the ability to share their technology, to share what they have learned with the people of the Commonwealth, but they don't. They prefer to stay in their compound, and they prefer to keep one step away from the people of the Commonwealth, which is very selfish. The Brotherhood of Steel can use their resources to help the people of the Commonwealth. They could use their choppers to, like, protect settlements. They can use their obvious air superiority to the betterment of the people of the Commonwealth. They can act as security. They don't even need to share their technology to be a help. They're a military. They could, like, provide security or join forces with the Minutemen to provide security for the people of the Commonwealth. If they actually cared about the people of the Commonwealth, they wouldn't just be rolling up in their vertibirds and going shooting willy-nilly, you know what I mean? They wouldn't be attacking non-feral ghouls. These guys are relentless. Well, they're gunners, so that's a given. And we're in the middle of a rat storm. Ooh, looky here. And ultimately, none of them are a good choice for the Commonwealth. The Minutemen, you know, when they win the battle against the Institute, they don't just go back to doing their own little selfish thing. They actually go back to work, which work for them is protecting and serving the people of the Commonwealth. Another settlement needs your help, because another settlement does need your help. I mean, look at this place, dude. I mean, yeah, it's not the heck hole that Elder Lyons and the Brotherhood had to deal with in the Capital Wasteland. It's not the war zone that the Courier has to wander through to decide the fate of several nations here. One under Mr. House, one under the NCR, and one under the banner of the Bull, Caesar's Legion. But the Commonwealth has its own unique problems. Again, they have the Institute to deal with. They live under fear of people, of their loved ones being replaced, or them being replaced. And I'm not exploring that place. It's just sad that the other factions don't share that attitude. Ultimately, the Minutemen are the best option when it comes to the future of the Commonwealth, because they care. Their whole reason for being is, again, to protect, serve, and defend. And that's why I always side with the Minutemen through almost every playthrough I do. It's hard to side with any other faction in this game because, quite honestly, I don't like selfish people. I don't like selfish groups. The Brotherhood of Steel, when they ask you to steal from your own strong arm your own settlers, who you could have literally just been helping through a Minutemen quest, and who trust you, and when you do that, they don't understand why you're strong arming them to get supplies to the Brotherhood. They don't necessarily trust the Brotherhood because, again, the Brotherhood gives them no reason to trust them. That whole come in peace stuff doesn't sway the people of the Commonwealth. They're seeing the Brotherhood just go willy-nilly all over the place, shooting everything that moves in their vertibirds. They're seeing them march around the Commonwealth. They're seeing them bully the Wastelanders. And I mean, if you don't side with the Brotherhood at all, if you don't really do that Semper Fidelis, Semper Fi quest, where you go talk to Elder Max and you don't become a knight, they treat you with rather contempt. They say, back off, Scaver, or beat it, Wastelander. And if that's the attitude they're showing to you, what do you think they're a person who helped get the deep range transmitter, which got their butts here? What do you think they're doing to the people? What do you think how they're treating to the people of the Commonwealth? What do you think they're doing to those folks? I'll tell you exactly what they're doing. They're probably doing worse. They're probably stealing their food, and they're probably being generally jerks. The Institute, they're hiding out. They're going to continue hiding out in their little enclave there. And the Railroad, they're going to continue helping simps and, screw the Commonwealth people. I understand that that the Railroad doesn't have the manpower to help or protect anyone besides simps. They barely have enough manpower to protect simps. But that didn't stop the Brotherhood, that didn't stop the Minutemen from doing it. The Minutemen are in the same boat. The Quincy Massacre destroyed what was left of the Minutemen except for Preston Garvey. It's your job to rebuild them through the quest lines. Also, they still go out of their way to protect and serve. If you throw up that flare gun, Minutemen come, especially if there's a settlement nearby that's loyal to the Minutemen. Honestly, I cannot stress this enough. The Minutemen are the best faction in this game, and possibly the best faction in the Fallout games as a whole. Fight me on that. Turn the comments section into a war zone. I don't care. You're not going to get me to change my opinion on the Minutemen just because you don't think they're the best faction. Just because you guys think they're the most annoying because another settlement needs your help. A settlement always needs your help. Again, look around here, guys. There's hostiles everywhere. You look around. There's raider groups. There's super mutants. There's feral ghouls. There's all kinds of stuff. And these other factions, they're not doing anything to help them. Again, they could do something, but they don't. The only thing these people have, the only thing the Commonwealth really has to protect themselves and to keep them safe, to build their settlements, protect their farms, to build up defenses, to come when they're called, is the Minutemen. So if you guys don't mind, I have another settlement that needs my help. As always, this has been Richard Garner with Train Crash TV. Please like, share, and subscribe this video to get us some clicks. And a personal shout out to Old World Tunes radio station. If it wasn't for you guys, I'd probably be losing my mind right now. I wake up every morning to the sound of Cadillac Jack's Radio Shack, Mr. Isaiah Pendergrass. Your guys' music is awesome, and I'm going to tag you in this video. That being said, you all have a good day now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.